Thabo Sefolosha, superstar NBA player who plays for the Atlanta Hawks, is reportedly planning on suing the NYPD for, get this, $50 million after a scuffle outside of a New York nightclub left him with a broken leg after an altercation with the police. Now, Jose, he says he was substantially disabled from this incident. Now, look, the details of what happened are still a little bit unclear. You know how NYPD police are. They say what's on their mind. They don't really hold back. They ended up telling him to get off the block. He said no. They tried to restrain him. He wasn't having it. He ended up calling one of them a midget at one point, which is kind of funny. But either way, he was pinned to the ground. And this isn't funny. I'm kind of joking around, but this part's not funny. He broke his leg. And I don't think the cops should do that, right? Just because someone is saying, screw you, right? I'll do what I want. But apparently that is a pattern that we're seeing a lot. But I want to get back to this. Now, what do you think? Because it's easy to kind of look at this and say, you know, this guy's got it made. He's you know, great NBA player. He makes millions of dollars. He's got a smoking hot wife. And here he is suing the city for $50 million. $50 million that he doesn't really need. What he's planning on doing it, we don't know. It could go to charity. But it's easy to kind of look at him and be like, crybaby, he's greedy. But what's your take on it?
I think there's the lawsuit is valid in two senses. The first one, just the loss of income. Yes, he could be a millionaire already. He could be making a lot of money, but that's the money that he makes.
He missed the postseason, by the way. He did miss the postseason, so that
missing the playoffs, that's a lot of bonus money that they get. Right. Also, having an injury where a basketball player that relies on his legs so much could be ground for the next negotiation of his contract for the teams to use that against him in his.
I just saw him slam dunking though, like it was nobody's business. Like
those negotiations are really intense, and they will use anything to save some buck and don't pay them, you know, big amount of money. That is the immediate side. But the other aspect that it makes it really, really valid is the fact that we've seen this systemic police brutality against black individuals. And it ranges from Eric Garner, asthmatic, asking for help, saying that he can't breathe and ending up dead, to James Blake, famous tennis player, abused by the police.
He got tackled, yeah.
You know, tackled, and now this case also. So we do see that although it's a spectrum of different social implications to each of the cases, but at the same time, at the center of all of them is police brutality and these cops that are just abusing their power in order to hurt black men. And I think that brings attention. The fact that they're asking for $50 million, it brings attention and again makes the police department think twice to allow these policies that are fostering this attitude and this behavior in the cops to continue. If they get slammed with $50 million, now they're gonna think twice. But in just for some context, the family of Eric Garner, they got $6 million after the settlement. And we're talking about someone losing their life. So I think that part of the 50 million, such a big number, is the negotiation process that they're going to enter. Yeah, I think so.
Right. Now, every point you made is valid. And I want to add to that quickly just by saying, you know, I think it's also very sad that no one really talks about African Americans being targeted unless it happens to be caught on film or if it's a high profile figure like an NBA player or James Blake, the tennis player. In his case, it was also caught on tape and he was just happened to be a professional tennis player. But at the same time, though, I'm a little bit hesitant to draw this back to police brutality when we're talking about Eric Garner, for example. That was very different. I mean, he was completely innocent. A guy talking about, I can't breathe, gets choked out, just was completely complying with the police. Meanwhile, if Thabo Sefolosha had just left, like the cops had said, none of this would have happened. And I know the charges were dropped. Now, all of his charges, he was charged for resisting arrest. Now, that was immediately dropped. They reviewed the footage and they saw he wasn't. But if you look at the footage, I mean, he's really like, get off of me, he's pushing them away, and he's really not listening. So I think there's obviously big differences, but they do highlight the same point, and that no one is safe in this country, especially African Americans when we're talking about police brutality. But we want to know what you guys have to say about everything that's happened here. Do you think it's right for Thabo Sefolosha to literally sue them for $50 million? That is so much money. I know he's probably not going to get all of that, but let us know. And also, him missing the whole postseason because of this injury sustained by the police. Now, we all know they weren't going to win anyway. The Warriors were on fire and no one's going to stop them. But anyways, we want to know what you guys have to say. Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Lip TV for more.